In today's episode, I'm updating you on a bunch of my works in progress, as well as talking about some future plans that I have for some yarn that just arrived. And I also wanted to announce the winner from my winter accessories bundle. Welcome back to Knitting by the Bay. My name is Christy, and this is a podcast all about making, but mostly knitting. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about a bunch of my works in progress. I have one half-finished item that I wanted to share with you as well. I just received some yarn in the mail yesterday for some future plans I wanted to talk about. And then at the end, I'm going to announce the winner from my winter accessories bundle. So first I wanted to share with you my half-finished object. This is a pair of mittens. They're called the Kitten Catch mittens, and it's patterned by Florence Miller. You knit these using a 2.5 millimeter needle. I could not find mine, so I have knit mine on a 2.75 millimeter needle, and I think it turned out just fine for my size of hand. This is a one-size-fits-all pattern, and it's really, really cute. So here is my first one. And I love how they turned out. I think they're very cute. Look at the little fish on the thumb. I think that's so adorable. And yeah, so I switched my two colors. She has you do the cat in the darker color, but I just wanted a light color cat. I don't know why. That's what I chose. So yeah, I did mine with the opposite. So I inverted my chart so that I would be able to read it and wouldn't get confused. And then what she does, and she tells you this in the beginning of the pattern, is she has you hold, like normally you would hold the background color in your one hand and then the part that you want to pop forward in your dominant hand. And so in this case, normally it would be the dark color would be held back and the light color would be held in your dominant hand. But she has you switch it around because she really wants the eyes and the mouth of the cat to pop out more. So that's something to make note of. I did see some people had a bit of confusion with that in their on their project page. But she does state that in the beginning of the pattern. And yeah, I think it turned out really well. She has you do a Latvian braid at the beginning of the cuff and then a Latvian braid at the end of the cuff. And I decided I didn't want to learn anything new there. So I just left those out. And I instead did the same kind of cuff that I did for my songbird mittens, which is, I believe this is called corrugated ribbing, which is basically you knit all the stitches, but you are just doing a 1 by 1 color work pattern going for the vertical stripes. And it really does like cinch in the cuff. It makes it a very, very like sturdy sort of cuff and a thicker feeling material. And I really like how that turned out. I'm happy that I didn't do the Latvian braids. I like this look better. And is there anything else I wanted to say? I do feel like they are quite long. They do fit my hands though, because I have slightly bigger hands, I would say. But, and I did also use the bigger needle. But I do feel like they fit pretty good. I did see some other people mention in their project pages that theirs turned out a bit bigger as well. And I know that Florence Miller has said that she has slightly bigger hands. And so maybe that's why. But yeah, they fit me pretty good. I think if you had smaller hands, maybe size down a needle, even from the 2.5, maybe do a 2.25. I don't know, see what works for you. I find that the thumb is a little bit big, but I think that that's probably because she wanted to be able to get this whole fish motif on it. But it's a very comfortable fitting mitten. I really like it. I'm excited to cast on the second one. I used Santa's Garden Tin Peergynt for this, and I don't remember the names of the colors, but everything I will link down below to my Ravelry, and I take pretty good notes on there. So if you're interested in finding out the colors, you can find it in my project page for this one. And I think that's all that I wanted to say for that. I'm excited to cast on the second one soon. All right, my next accessory that I'm working on right now. I asked you guys in my winter accessories bundle for a suggestion if I should knit my son the Oslo hat by Petite Knit or the Muscle Bro by Ysolda Teague. And I honestly think that it was kind of a tie between the two of them. I didn't go through and count all the comments, but I think it was pretty well tied between those two. And since I already purchased the Muscle Bro hat pattern before, I decided just to do that. So I bought that pattern a while ago and I used a yarn. I think it was an Aran weight yarn. And I think that, like, I bought that yarn without looking at the pattern, thinking that it would be good for that, because that pattern, you can choose any weight of yarn that you want. And I thought that that would be fine, but then later when I looked at the pattern, I think it only went up to either DK or worsted weight. So yeah, my yarn was, I think, a little bit too big. And then even though I followed what the pattern was saying, my hat turned out huge. So I ended up frogging it. This time I am using this one, which is the Lang Jawal. Find the one with the band. Lang Jawal Superwash. And this one I'm knitting for my son. And so I let him choose a color. He picked this really nice bright electric blue. I don't know the name of it, but again, it's in my project page. And so you can find it there. But this one is a fingering weight yarn. And so what you do with the Muscle Bro is you cast on using the Judy's Magic Loop, which basically makes a very small little circle. And then you pull on the string and it makes like a line of stitches, and then you pull on the string and it creates this circle. So that's why it's called the magic loop. And then you just start increasing from there. And you just follow the pattern. It's the same for every hat at the beginning. And you just keep increasing until you have a good amount of material to measure for a gauge swatch. So you don't do it before, you do it during knitting it. And so I think you need to get to where you have about 2 inches in between the decrease sections. And then you measure for 1 inch how many stitches you have there. And then you look at the chart and it'll tell you, like, if you're knitting whatever size you're knitting, which I'm doing the adult medium, it'll tell you how many stitches you need to have. Or it doesn't say that. It says, if you have this many stitches, this is how many rounds of decrease, or did I say decreases at the beginning? Increases. How many increases you're going to need to do based on what your own gauge is. And that's really cool because you get started with whatever yarn you have and it'll all work out. And so then you increase until you get to the number that's recommended, and then you just knit the hat down to twice as long as you want the hat to be. And then you start decreasing. So it's going to be the same as the crown, but on the bottom doing decreases. And once you're finished that the bottom goes and gets tucked up inside of this part here, up inside of the crown. So it's a double layered hat. And then you can also, after, fold it up again. So if you knit it longer, then you can fold it up again so that you have, at the end, you have 4 layers of fabric. And so I think I'm going to do that because for the winters that we have here, where I am in Canada, it gets very cold. And so since this is a fingering weight sock yarn, I thought 4 layers will make it nice and warm. My dogs are here with me. Normally I have them in another room, but they're sitting here. I thought they weren't going to make any noise at the window, but they like to sit here and look out the window at people walking by, but it's supposed to start raining soon, so I thought there wouldn't be that many people walking by, but that's Bandit. I think she probably sees a squirrel outside. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm excited to do this. I hope that it's big enough. I should probably take it off this shorter needle to see, because right now it looks like a hat for a baby. Yeah, so there's a dog walking by right now. Sorry about that. I think I'm going to put them in another room and I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so I think I should probably take it off because it looks pretty small and I want to test it out. And maybe I'll do that this weekend and see if I'm on track for the right size for him. Okay, another accessory I'm working away on is my Sunday morning shawl. This is a pattern by Space Tricot, and it's a really cool shawl. I actually think that I need to get another needle, maybe, because I've got it on a 32-inch needle, I think, and it's starting to bunch up, and it's going to be getting wider and wider. So maybe I need to get one. I don't know. I don't really want to buy another needle. I feel like I have so many of them. I wish that back when I started knitting, I had purchased a set of the interchangeable needles, but I didn't, and it's kind of too late to turn back now because I have like so many, so many needles. And yeah, anyway, so if I can get away with just bunching them up on this needle, I will continue to do that. But this is a really pretty shawl that is very easy to knit and very relaxing to knit. And yeah, you're just basically doing like you're increasing the stitches at the sides and along the center here. And so when you're increasing them at the sides, you're just doing yarn overs. So it's creating this little bit of lace here along the top. And then you are doing a section of stockinette with increases in the middle. And then you do a small section of twisted rib, and then so on. And you're just repeating it. And this is a free pattern. And I think it's really a great pattern for beginners because there's not a lot to it, really. You're just repeating the same thing. So you got a lot of stockinette. If you can make one left, make one right. If you can do a yarn over, and if you can knit and purl through the back loop, and anybody can learn how to do that. So those are just the only techniques really that are involved in this. Then you can make this and it's a lot of fun. And I feel like it's knitting up pretty quickly. At the bottom, once you're done, oh, I should say also in the pattern, so it's a free pattern, it's very like it repeats itself throughout the whole pattern. So it says like knit the stockinette section 1, twisted rib section 1, stockinette section 2, twisted rib section 2. And I mean, it could just be like, because it's exactly the same, so it could say repeat those 2 sections this many times or whatever. But it spells it out for you. So I think that that's great for beginners as well. You can, I print out my patterns. You can check off where you are on your paper and just follow it that way. Once you get down to the bottom, you've done all the repeats, you're going to do a row of like 1,000 bobbles. I don't know how many it is, but it's a lot of bobbles. But if you are a beginner knitter and you don't want to like worry about all those bobbles, then you can just leave them off. I've seen a lot of projects on the pattern page where people just left those bobbles off. Or if you're somebody who hates doing bobbles, then you don't have to do them. I think it gives it a really neat texture. I think it gives it a little bit of visual weight to the shawl for the bottom of it that I really, really like. So I am going to do the bobbles. I say that now. I may change my mind later. Don't hold me to it, but I really, really like the look of them. And then after you've done all those bobbles, you're going to do a big chunk of twisted rib on the bottom of the shawl. And that's, quite a bit of twisted rib. And I really liked this one because it's not a lacy shawl or anything. I think it's a very modern looking shawl. And yeah, it's just something I think would go really nicely with some of my clothes. And I'm excited because this is the first shawl that I've ever made. And yeah, I think it'd be really nice, just something to wrap around your shoulders when you're, sitting and knitting, and to wear, instead of a sweater, it's kind of like a cardigan sort of in a way. And yeah, I like it. I really like this color. This is Drops Charisma. I have never used this before, but I was at a local yarn shop and I really wanted to pick up some yarn from there, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to make, but I did have this one in my queue, and I saw some people had used this one. Maybe a couple of people had used it, and they had it there, and I really like this color. So I picked this up in sort of a gray beige. Very nice neutral, I think will go with a lot of things. And this is a DK weight superwash wool. And I didn't know it was superwash until I brought it home. And then I saw that and I thought that that would be actually really great because it'll be soft around my neck, and I can also wash it in the washing machine if I wanted to. So yeah, I'm super happy with how this is going. I've been knitting on this while I've been watching the World Series, which is baseball. For those of you like me that are not sports fans, I never watch sports on TV or anything. I don't really care about sports. But for some reason, like my sister is really, really into baseball and she's been talking about it a lot. And I guess one of our like news stations, I don't know, CTV News or something, has been playing the World Series. So my husband and I were like, let's just watch it. We'll watch a bit of it. And that was the first game on Friday. And the Blue Jays, they won that game, and it was like such an exciting game, I thought. Anyway, I have watched Jays games before. I've gone to, well, I guess it's called the Rogers Center, but it used to be called the Sky Dome. So I was at the Sky Dome, watched them a few times. And it was always fun. And I did play baseball very, very terribly when I was younger. And the only reason I agreed to play baseball was because I was able to pick out my baseball glove, and I picked a really like fun purple colored one. And yeah, usually I just like sat in the, I don't even know what it's called, outfield or whatever it's called. Didn't really play. So anyway, but I do know the rules to baseball. I don't know the rules to any other sport like hockey or football or anything like that, but I do know how baseball is played. And I find it a very, very easy game to follow along with for somebody who's not really into sports. So yeah, we watched that one. I was really excited, and now I'm hooked, and I've been watching every game so far. And I've been knitting on this while I've been watching, and it's been really great because, there have been a few games that were pretty stressful, I found. And so it was nice to have this to knit along with. I was sitting there thinking about people that don't like to knit or haven't tried knitting before. And I just feel like, what do you do with your hands when you're stressed or, watching things like this? Because knitting is such a great, hobby for us to have, I think, for mental health too. And yeah, so I've been working on that. I have had very little sleep this whole week because I guess it was Tuesday night. Like all of the games have been going on until past 11 o'clock. And then Tuesday night, they were tied and for a very long time. And by 1 in the morning, I was like, I can't keep staying up. I have to get up in the morning with my son. This is ridiculous. I'll find out the score in the morning. They were, tied. And I think it was the 13th inning or something like that. And apparently it went till like 18 innings. So I'm glad I gave up and went to bed. But they ended up losing, which was kind of sad. But anyway, yeah, so it's been great to have this to knit along with while I'm watching the World Series. I think it's really exciting because the Blue Jays haven't been to the World Series since like I think it's been 32 years or something. So it's exciting for them for sure. Okay, now I think that is all of my accessories. So I wanted to share with you guys my fallow. I had talked about this one on my previous holiday sweater roundup, and this is my sweater. It's a pattern by Anne Michelle Fallon, and it's called Fallow. And I knit this one as my holiday sweater last year using Durare Natura Ulysse in the color Cedar, and then quartz held together with knitting for olive mohair in the color Ballerina. And I loved it, but I made it a little bit too cropped. I thought it'd be really just a cute, fun, boxy cropped colorwork sweater. Um, but it really didn't go with the clothes that I have. And I did wear it, but I thought it could look better actually. And so what I did was I tried to unravel the hem, but I find this um, yarn is very grippy, and it got so tangled up and it wasn't looking great, and it was taking a very long time to unravel. So I thought I'm just going to cut off the ribbing. So I cut the ribbing off and I held on to it, and then I had a ball and a half left of the this yarn. And so I just thought, I'm going to knit until I run out of yarn, basically, and just lengthen it as much as I can. And so what I did was I weighed this cut off ribbing because I wanted to make sure that I didn't run out of yarn. I wanted to make sure I had enough to do the same amount of ribbing. So I weighed it and figured that out. And then I left a little bit of room to do the bind off and whatever, just in case. And so I was left with a good amount, but not a ton. I can definitely use this for something else. And I'm really happy with the length of it now. So, yeah, I think that was a good decision to do. And I've got it done now in time for the holiday season this year. Okay, and then another one that I have, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah. Okay, so my last work in progress I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to talk about my Corvid sweater today because there is zero progress done on that one. And that's okay because that's just sort of my sweater to knit on when I want something just relaxing stockinette. And yeah, so I've done nothing on that. So I wanted to talk about this one. This is my Gia zipper Genser. It's a pattern by Sandus Garn, and it is in this book here, which is number 2202. And I purchased this one originally for the Amy slipover or Amy vest. I can't remember what it's called. And I did make that one. But then I was also I was looking through it. This book, if you want to get a book that has a lot of really beautiful knits, very wearable knits as well, and lots of different kinds. Like there's basic knits, there's lacy sort of knits, there's a vest, there's a dress in this, there's a really nice textured sweater. There's everything in this. This is a really great book to get. So this is the one that I am making, the Gia Zipper Genser. And it is recommended that you use Sandus Garn Double Sunday held together with their mohair. I'm not sure what the name of theirs is. And so I ended up using the Double Sunday, and this color is called Above the Clouds. This is a petite knit color. She comes out with different colors. I don't know if it's seasonal or what, but this is one of her colors. And I held it together with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. And the reason I use this instead of Sandus Garn is because when I knit my Amy vest, I used their mohair, and I do find it scratchier than the Knitting for Olive. It is less expensive, so if mohair doesn't bother you at all, then totally go for that one. But I am a little bit sensitive to it. This is still a little bit prickly, but it's less so than that. So I am using the color soft blue because I wanted to sort of mute down that blue and give it a bit of a dusty halo. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing with that. And this is what I've got so far. So I'm going to put this on so that I can talk a little bit about the construction of it. So I'm going to take off my microphone in this sweater, and I'm going to put that on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is so far. This sweater is knit top down in the round. Of course, you're knitting flat. I think you do the back first, and then you pick up stitches. You knit the one side and pick up stitches, knit the other side, join it in the middle here with a lot of stitches. You pick up a lot across here and then knit the rest down in the round. You are doing a lot of decreases. So the sweater has like a shape like that. And then you have a big chunk of twisted ribbing at the bottom. And so it's meant to be a crop sweater that is like big on the top with a waist that cinches in. And I ended up knitting mine about 9 or 10 centimeters longer than recommended. And mine is still kind of cropped. But even though I don't like a crop sweater, I'm really liking the shape of this one. And I think it's because of that ribbing at the bottom and how the top is really loose and baggy. It's going to have like wider sleeves. And I think that just, I don't know, I really like the look. So, and mine's not super cropped because I did add those 10 centimeters. So I'll show you what it's looking like here. Yeah. So I probably could have sized up a little bit, like to one size bigger to make it more, um, oversized on the top, which is kind of what I wanted it to like sort of billow over the ribbing at the bottom. But I think what I'll do when I block it is just make sure I don't stretch out that ribbing at all. I'll measure it before I wet block it and then make sure I keep it that same size. And then I will sort of stretch out the stockinette section here to make it more like I really wanted to have that sort of sweatshirt look with, those zip up collar sweatshirt looks. And so, yeah, that's what I'll do. I think I can play around with that and get it to the shape that I want. It has very big, like armhole depth, I think. So the sleeves are going to be very big at the top, and then you're going to decrease down to the cuff. And I'm really liking it. I love this color so much. I'm really into this like sort of dusty blue color right now. And yeah, okay, so once you have finished the body, then you're going to start working on these front pieces here. And these are double knitted. And what you do, so also, first of all, I want to say, reading the pattern out of this book is so confusing to me. It's not written the same way that I have experienced in other patterns at all. So I had to put it into Chat GPT again and get some help with that, and just said basically just said write this clearer for me so I can understand it. And I had to go back and forth saying, but I don't understand this and I don't understand that. And then finally by the end, I got it. And I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. But from the written instructions, and there's obviously no pictures or anything for it, it was so confusing to me. It did not make sense. But once I got that clearer instruction, now it totally makes sense. And I really think it's a very neat way of doing this whole thing. But anyway, what you're going to do is, so you start on this side and you're going to pick up stitches running down here, which is like on a diagonal. You pick up all those stitches and then you're going to pick up half the stitches across the front. And the way that you pick these up, because you're going to be double knitting this, you need double the amount of stitches. So what you do is pick up one stitch normally from the edge, and then you pick up one stitch from below that stitch, which I've never done before. So yeah, you just go into, I just went into one leg because there is one picture that shows you that and it looked like they went in through under one leg. I hope that's right, but I just went under one leg and knit a stitch onto the needle from there. So you just do that all the way across. So you've got twice the amount of stitches here. And then you're going to work double knitting up here. And basically what you're doing is you knit one and then you slip one purlwise all the way across. Once you get to the side here, you're going to knit the last stitch from the front together with the first stitch from the side stitches here. So I think on the first row, you purl those two together. And then, yeah, so what it's doing is creating 2 layers of fabric and joining it to the side. And then every so many rows, you're also going to do some increases because this is slanting here. It's straight here, but it's slanting here. So you need to increase to make it wider, wider, wider. And I think that it was really well done the way that you do that. And you do the same thing for the other side. So I think it looks really neat. Um, and so now I just finished this morning on the second side. And now I'm going to go around the back of the neck and pick up all those stitches. So that all is going to be double knit too, because the collar is coming up um, all the way up to like your chin or whatever. So that's all going to be double knit all the way around. So when you pick up stitches all around the back of the neck, you're doing it again, picking up one normally from the edge and then one stitch below that stitch all the way around. So you have twice as many stitches on the needles for that. And then you continue on to create this double knitted collar. But also, at the same time that you're doing that, you're also going to be doing German short rows to shape the back of the neck. So I'm not really thrilled to be doing that. And actually, all of this double knitting here really, really hurt my hands. It was fun to knit. I really liked the process of doing it. But because you have to size down on this needle, so it's a much smaller needle, and then you're doing like twice as much fabric, it's very stiff fabric, and it really, really hurt my hands. So yeah, I'm going to be putting this guy away for a few days and then coming back to it later because I've had enough of that for a little while. But I think that it has such a beautiful look to it. And so once you're done doing the collar, then you're going to knit these two strips of fabric. And I'm not really sure how that's done yet because I haven't looked ahead to that part. But you're going to knit these two strips of fabric that are going to fold over into the inside and be sewn down, I think. And your zipper is going to go in between this front here collar and that back fabric. So I guess it would be called like a facing that goes over top of the zipper tape when you sew it down. So it's going to have a very neat look on the inside. I think that is, I think that this is a really well thought out pattern for sure. It's just that they don't seem to include a lot of um, instructions. I think they assume that you know already. And my problem was I just couldn't imagine how it was to be implemented. And my brain works better by seeing pictures and seeing video of what it looks like than reading instructions. I think I need both things. But anyway, I was able to get through. I honestly, before I used ChatGPT, I was thinking to frog this and I was looking for patterns to use this yarn with because it just did not make sense to me. But I'm glad that I stuck with it and I got help with it and I continued on because I really, really like it. And I think that I'm really going to like this sweater a lot when it's finished. I did say earlier that I wanted to make a second one in like a dusty pink, and I don't see that happening just because of all this double knitting. Not super fun, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to take this off now, and then I'm going to talk about some of my future plans. Just one second. Okay, so I'm always trying to find the perfect sweater style that I'm really going to like to wear and that, I feel comfortable in and that I like to knit. And I don't feel like I found that pattern yet or that style of sweater yet. I love all of my knits. I love knitting them. I wear a lot of them, but I haven't really found that perfect fit for a sweater yet. So I want to try and experiment more with different styles. So one thing I was thinking about was looking for sweaters that have waist shaping in them. And that's not something that a lot of the newer designers do nowadays. A lot of the sweaters that I've knit or seen patterns for are very, what do you call it? Like square shaped or yeah, just oversized and blocky looking. And not a lot of them have waist shaping. And I know that I can add my own waist shaping to it if I wanted to, but it's nice to see the pattern already done and how it's going to look and how it looks on different bodies by the different projects that have been made. And yeah, a lot of these sweaters being like oversized fits, I like some of them, but I also think that sometimes because I just the shape of my body, I have a bigger bust. Sometimes it just ends up looking like a big square and with no shaping at all. And that's, that's fine. That's a look too. And I definitely have sweaters like that I like too. But I wanted to see like a different shapes and different, you know, like shaping in the sweater. And so, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys if you know of any designers that do a lot of things like that, like waist shaping in them. I know that Lily Kate France has a lot of patterns like that. I know a bunch of her t-shirts or her tank tops do include waist shaping. I think one that I made, maybe the Tonight top or the underlace top, I can't remember, had waist shaping in it. And I really like that. And I like her sort of look with a lot of her tops. She has a very feminine sort of look. I know she does do some more oversized things as well, but she does a lot more fitted things too. So recently, Lily Kate France has been showing her new pattern that she's working on Instagram. And it has a sort of, I think it has waist shaping in it, and it just has a more fitted look to it. She says not skin tight, but not oversized or anything. So I believe it does have waist shaping as well. It has some like detail going down the sides of it too. And I thought that it had the perfect shape that I'm looking for. It's like a V-neck cardigan. So hopefully I'll be able to make that one when she comes out with it, but I think it'll be a little while because I think she still needs to have it tested and everything. But that's okay because I have found another pattern that I want to do. And this one is different in that the waist shaping is created by it being a wrap sweater. So it's the Robinson Wrap by Florence Miller, and this one's been out for a while. Lots of people have knit it, and I've looked at it before, and I think it looks really pretty. And so, yeah, I decided I really want to knit this one and give this sort of shaping a try. And so I decided to use the recommended yarn, which is Knitting for Olive Merino and their mohair. And I'm using the colors Dusty Dove Blue. And yeah, I really like this color. Obviously, this one's a bit darker than that color, and this one sort of has a bit of a purplish hue to it, I think. But yeah, I think it's really, really pretty. And so I actually made a swatch. I don't always do that, but I did. And so here's my swatch. And I think it's really pretty. I love the drape of this together. So it's a fingering weight plus the lace weight mohair. And that's how it turned out. I blocked it too. And so I got stitch gauge exactly. My row gauge was different. So I believe it was 28 stitches for or 28 rows, and I have 31 rows. What am I going to do about that? I don't think anything. I'll just like, block it out so that it's the right shape that I want. I feel like a lot can be done with blocking, so I'm not too concerned about that. And yeah, so that's going to be what I cast on when I'm finished this guy here. So when this one's done, this one's getting cast on, and I'm really excited to do that. Try out a wrap top and see if I like that. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in here because I realized I forgot to announce the winner for my winter accessories bundle. So I used a random comment picker and this is who it chose. So if this is you, please contact me through Ravelry, through my Instagram, or through my email. And all of those ways to contact me will be down below in the description. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who entered the contest. I received so many comments about all the different beautiful accessories that you guys want to cast on. And I love it because I was able to add so many new patterns to my favorite. So thank you guys so much for that. Okay, back to the podcast. So that's everything that I have to share. I'm going to be casting on for my holiday sweater that I talked about in my previous episode, the DRK Everyday Cardi, that I will be doing some lace and color work on as well. I'm going to be casting that one on tomorrow for my Friday night cast on party, which will be extra fun because it will be the World Series again. Tonight they're taking a night off to travel because they've been playing in LA and now they're going to be back in Toronto to play this game. So yeah, so tomorrow will be Halloween and my son is having a friend over and then we're going to take them trick-or-treating and then come home and watch the game as well. And so, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So this episode's going to air after Halloween is over, but yeah, so that is our plan for Halloween. My son is also going to a Halloween party at the dojo where he does karate and jiu-jitsu too, and he's really excited for that. Last night we went and he was doing karate and the sensei allowed everyone to wear their costumes, so it was pretty funny, everybody trying to do karate in their costumes. And my son is again the plague doctor and he wore that costume last year and it still fits him, and so he just decided to be that again. And so when he went in, some of the younger students were like, "What are you?" And the daughter of the sensei was there. She's very, very young, and she's like, "Are you a bird? You look like a bird," because that has that big, beak-like mask for the plague doctor. And he kind of was like nobody's going to know who I am. And I just said, she's a little too young to know what a plague doctor is. I don't know. Probably a lot of kids don't know about that. But anyway, he just had a lot of fun going around and pecking people with his beak after that. And he refused to take the mask off for the whole class. And he was hot and it's not easy to breathe in that thing, but he persevered so that he could wear his costume for the whole thing. And I thought that was really, really cute. And yeah, so that's what we've been doing lately. I am going to be back next week with a different sort of episode because I wanted to share with you guys some of the holiday crafts that I'm planning to make. So I've ordered a bunch of supplies for some non-knitting related crafts. So there's going to be some cross stitch. There is a crochet, really, really cute crochet ornament that I want to make and I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's such a cute pattern. And then, and I don't really know how to crochet, but it's such a little thing that I think I can figure it out. I have done a bit of crochet in the past, but nothing like this is more like amigurumi. It's like a little toy type of thing. But I thought it was really, really cute. And I'm going to turn it into an ornament for the tree. Every year I make a different sort of ornament. Usually it's something involving cross stitch. But I just saw this and I really had to make it. So I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if I'll have the supplies yet to have any progress done before, but I should have everything ready for the episode just to show you what I'll be using to make it. And what else do I have? A pair of really cute Christmas pajamas I want to make. And yeah, did I already say a cross stitch? A holiday cross stitch as well that looks like so much fun. So I wanted to share all of that planning with you guys. So that will be on next week's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And until next time, happy crafting, everyone. Bye.